Hey y'all, today we are making a full spread breakfast or brunch, baby. I got the shrimp and grits. We're doing some steak, some waffles with that maple syrup and butter, and some fluffy eggs paired with some fruit. Honey, you cannot go wrong. We are going to get started with these grits. I'm going to put 3 cups of water in a pot to come to a boil, and then I am going to add in a half of a tablespoon of chicken bouillon. I love this for the added flavor, or you can just use 3 cups of chicken broth. Now, I don't have a non-stick whisk, so I am going to use the back of my spoon to spread out 3/4 of a cup of grits. If you pour it on the spoon and whisk at the same time, you're going to avoid them lumps, okay? And you do not want no lumpy grits, honey. I am going to cover this and I'm going to cook this on medium low for about 15 minutes. Then I am going to add in half of a cup of half and half, as well as about half of a cup of cheese of my choice. Today I'm using Munster cheese. I'll add a little bit of pepper to my taste, and then I'll just let this go on low for about 3 more minutes. Of course, you're going to stick some butter up in there, okay? Now, I know them packages say 5-minute grits. I don't believe it, okay? I don't believe the lies, okay? I do mine for a good 15 to 20 minutes, all right? Now, for my shrimp, I have a pound of shrimp, and I'm going to put in a little bit of olive oil as well as about a teaspoon of salt-free Cajun seasoning. That's mostly for the color, but it does have garlic powder, onion powder, and pepper. Of course, Old Bay and Creole seasoning pair perfectly with this dish. You're going to use these two as if they are salt. And then I'm going to mix everything together. Now, if you like to eat a lot of grits, you can make a ton more grits as compared to the amount of shrimp that I'm using here. You can just decide what works best for your family. In my hot skillet, I'm going to put 2 strips of bacon. Now, I have done a shrimp and grits where I've used like Cajun sausage, bacon, peppers, onions, like the whole works. But since I'm using steak today and a lot of other elements, I'm just keeping this to be a simple recipe, okay? So once this bacon is cooked, I'm going to leave all that fat because that is the flavor that we're going to cook this shrimp in. Now, really, I should have done this in 2 batches. But I wasn't feeling that. Okay, y'all know sometimes you know what you're supposed to do, and then you know what you're about to do today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put in 3 cloves of garlic, fresh minced. Okay, very important. And I'm gonna toss it around in the shrimp. I'm gonna allow this shrimp to cook for about 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna take it out. And baby, this some good shrimp. Don't let it cook too long because you don't want it to be rubbery. I'm gonna tell y'all the full truth. I really like to use this brand of pancake mix to make my pancakes and my waffles. I really don't like to make, the waffles and pancakes from scratch. I just feel like I get more consistent results with the mix, and actually this mix tastes really good. So I'm going to follow the directions for the waffles, but I'm going to put my own little spin on it. So first I'm going to add 2 cups of the mix. Now notice how I'm shaking it into the cup. That's what you should do to make sure you're actually measuring the correct amount and you're not getting a lot of compacted mix. I'm then going to add a little cinnamon and a little nutmeg. That gives it that little bit of homemade flavor, just give it a little taste there. And then I am going to put in 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk and 3/4 of a cup of cold water. 2 tablespoons of sunflower oil. I'm going to crack in 1 egg, and then I'm going to stir this. Now, you're going to see it's going to have some lumps, okay? This is going to have more lumps than a sister with cellulite, okay? But don't worry about that, because when it goes into the waffle maker, it's all just going to work itself out. Now, I prefer thin waffles. Honey, don't give me no Belgian waffles. I'm going to tell you, I don't like it. I really like a crispy waffle, and I like mine a little brown skin, okay? So I'm going to go in and spray my waffle maker, and then I'm going to put in about a half of a cup of batter, and maybe like a little bit more. I kind of scooped out, a really good amount. And then I am going to close it, and I'm going to just let it cook until it is ready. Now you're going to see that mine are a little bit brown and a little bit thin, but that is the way, honestly, I like it because I like a crunchy waffle. So let me know in the comments. Are you team Belgian waffle? Are you team thin crispy waffle? What's your vibe? Because these waffles are giving me like Waffle House energy. You know what I'm talking about? Like that thin waffle, nice and golden brown. but they taste way better. And honestly, I guarantee you that restaurants are for sure using a mix. Now, the next thing that I'm going to prepare is my steak. Now, I actually had the steak marinating first while I was doing other things at room temperature for just about 30 minutes. I have a New York strip steak, but you could also use a ribeye or any other cut of steak that you like. And I'm spraying it down with some olive oil. This right here is my favorite steak seasoning so far. I love it. It has the perfect amount of salt, pepper, and garlic to me, but I am going to add a teaspoon of brown sugar. Since I'm going to be cooking this steak in a skillet, I feel like it helps give it a nice, like a better coating or better crust and just a mild sweetness. But if you're doing this on the grill, I would say the sugar is pretty optional. Now, if you like another steak seasoning, let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for another steak seasoning to try. Have y'all been using ghee? Like, I feel like ghee is the perfect oil to cook a steak because it has that buttery taste, but it's great for high heat. I've come to like this even better than olive oil when I'm cooking my steaks. It has a great flavor. I actually have my skillet on like a medium high heat. I allow my steak to cook on one side for about 5 minutes. It depends on how well done you want your steak. I added in the rosemary and the garlic to flavor that ghee up and give the steak a very good flavor. You want to leave the garlic whole because you don't want that garlic to burn. And the moment that rosemary starts getting a little too crispy, don't throw that thing out because you don't want a burnt flavor in your oil. I am going to continue to baste the steak just to make sure it stays juicy. And again, I'm going to cook this steak for about 5 minutes on this side as well. Now, if you've been enjoying this video so far, go ahead and give your girl the thumbs up. Because as you can see, I got the full spread for you. We throwing down. I give you full meal ideas every single week. When the steak is finished and it's to your liking, let me know. Do you like the well done steak? Do you like your steak to move a little bit, be kind of raw? All right, you place it to the side on a plate and let it rest for at least 5 minutes before slicing it. Now, I'm going to do some classic scrambled eggs. Now, eggs are easy, but there is a little technique to them. I'm doing 4 eggs because it's just me and the hubs today eating. And I'm going to add a little bit of half and half and just salt and pepper to my taste. I'm going to use my fork and I'm going to give them a strong whisk. Okay, I actually like to whisk it for a good 30 seconds because I want to make sure all those yolks are broken apart. Scrambled eggs, the best pan to use is a non-stick skillet, and you got to use real butter, in my opinion. This ain't the spray butter occasion if you want those rich eggs. I'm going to let mine just sit until, you see a ring form on the outside of your eggs. Then you're going to gently push your spatula and just press the outside inside, and you will see the eggs will start to naturally run around the pan. I don't really like when my scrambled eggs are very piecey. I like there to be big chunks of eggs. So this is why I do it this way. I have my heat on really like a medium low. You don't want to cook the eggs too high or you'll run the risk of making your eggs kind of hard. Now, y'all, tell me, what are you going to deep dive into first? You see, I chopped up that bacon and I put it with my shrimp and grits. I cut up that steak, put a little butter and maple syrup on that waffle, some fresh fruit, some nice scrambled eggs. Don't forget that I love you and Jesus loves you. God bless everyone who watches my channel, and goodbye.